chosen ones. Have you ever cried a tear that no one else saw? A silent tear, the kind that slips down your face in the darkness of the night, when the world is asleep and you wonder if heaven itself has turned away. Maybe you've asked yourself, does God even hear me? Does he see the pain I'm carrying in silence? And yet, though no one else witnessed it, though you never spoke a word, that tear was not wasted. That tear carried weight in heaven. That tear was a prayer, a cry that pierced through realms of silence and entered the throne room of God. And right now, you are here listening to these words, because the answer to those tears is already on its way. You see, this is not an accident. You did not stumble across this message by chance. Something in your spirit was pulled here, guided here, as if an unseen hand said, "Listen, because this word is for you." You've walked through valleys others could not survive. You've endured betrayals that would have broken weaker souls. You've stood in rooms where your presence was misunderstood, where your kindness was taken for weakness, where your silence was mocked. And yet, you're still here. You didn't collapse. You didn't die in the wilderness. You didn't drown in the flood. That alone is proof that you are not ordinary. If you've ever felt different, strange even, as though you could never fully blend into the world around you, if you've felt like an outsider in your own family, the misunderstood one, the one who carries burdens no one else can name, then this word is a divine confirmation. You are chosen. Not chosen because of your perfection, not chosen because of what you've achieved, but chosen because heaven marked you long before you were born. And those tears you shed, the ones you thought dissolved into nothing, were actually written into eternity. God heard your silent cries. He has been keeping account of every drop, and the time of miracles, the season of sudden shifts, is breaking forth in your life. But let me speak to your heart with complete honesty. There were moments you thought God was absent. There were nights when you asked why heaven was so silent, why your prayers seemed to bounce back unanswered, why pain echoed louder than promises. You questioned if maybe you weren't worthy enough, if maybe you were forgotten. But chosen one, silence does not mean abandonment. When God is silent, it is not because he turned away. His silence is the ground where miracles germinate, where unseen breakthroughs take root. Just because you could not see movement didn't mean nothing was happening. Just because you felt alone doesn't mean you were. In fact, it is in your loneliest seasons that heaven was closest, bending its ear toward your whispers, storing your tears like treasures in a bottle. Think about this. How many times did you smile at others when your own heart was breaking? How many times did you encourage someone else while secretly drowning in your own storm? That is the mark of the chosen. Others cannot understand how you keep giving, how you keep rising, how you keep surviving. They don't see that you are fueled by a source greater than flesh, a power that doesn't make sense to the natural mind. And that's why you're here, because the Spirit of God is whispering now, your suffering was not wasted, your tears were not ignored. What is coming next will make sense of everything. You see, there are people who watched you break. They waited for you to surrender, for the light in your eyes to dim, for your faith to collapse under the weight of disappointment. They thought the silence of heaven meant your story was over. But chosen one, they underestimated you. They underestimated the God inside you. What they didn't know is that while they were mocking your stillness, God was writing your comeback. While they thought the silence meant defeat, heaven was preparing to release miracles that will silence every lie, every doubt, every accusation that rose against you. And so here you are, listening not by coincidence, but by divine appointment. Because it is time for you to know the truth. The tears you cried in secret were not weakness. They were seeds. Seeds of faith, seeds of trust, seeds that heaven has watered in silence. And just as seeds break open in the soil before sprouting into life, so too your breaking was never the end. It was the hidden process of transformation. And now miracles are about to spring forth suddenly, like flowers breaking through concrete, like rivers bursting forth in deserts. Chosen ones, in this video, you will understand why you had to walk through what you walked through, why God allowed the silence, and why those tears mattered more than you can imagine. Because your story is not ordinary. Your pain was not random. Everything was preparing you for the very moment you are stepping into now. And I want you to feel this deep in your spirit. What is coming is not small. It is not surface level. It is not a minor shift. What is coming will shake the ground beneath your enemy's feet. It will elevate you into positions you thought were impossible. It will restore the years you thought were wasted. And it will remind you that every single tear was counted, every single cry was heard, and every single battle was preparing you for this victory. So stay with me, because what I am about to reveal will not only explain your tears, but it will ignite your hope. You will begin to see that nothing you endured was in vain. And as these words flow into your spirit, something in you will awaken, something will rise again, and you will realize miracles are not only coming, they are already at your doorstep. Chosen ones, let's speak the truth that many are afraid to admit. Your journey has never been ordinary. From childhood, you felt a strange weight, an invisible battle pressing against your soul. You noticed the looks, the whispers, the sense that others could not quite understand you. Some called you too sensitive, others accused you of being too serious, too different, too much. And yet deep inside, you knew this wasn't a flaw, it was a sign, a mark. Something sacred was upon your life, something that set you apart even when you wished you could just blend in. But let's be honest, being chosen has not always felt like a blessing. It has often felt like a burden, because when you are chosen, the struggles you face are not ordinary struggles. You've noticed that storms seem to come against you harder than against others. You've seen people walk away when you needed them most. You've carried betrayals so sharp they cut into your very identity, making you question who you are. And perhaps worst of all, you've cried out for answers and heard only silence. The silence of heaven has been one of your greatest tests. It's not the loud rejection from people that wounds you most. It's when you prayed, pleaded, begged God for relief, and all you heard was stillness. It made you wonder if your prayers were hitting the ceiling. It made you ask if God had turned his face from you. It made you question if maybe you weren't as chosen as you hoped. But here lies the hidden truth. Silence is not rejection. Silence is refinement. Do you remember Job, the righteous man who suffered loss upon loss? His friends could not understand why tragedy came upon him. They whispered behind his back, assuming he had sinned, assuming he was cursed. But Job was not cursed. Job was chosen. His trials were a stage set by heaven to demonstrate that even in silence, faith can endure. And in the end, what was stolen was restored double. This story was written not just for Job, but for you. For every chosen one who has endured loss, endured misunderstanding, endured the weight of silence. Think about Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, forgotten in a prison. Where was God in those moments? Silent. But was he absent? Never. Behind the silence, God was orchestrating a future throne in Egypt, a seat of authority Joseph could never have reached without the very betrayals that seemed to destroy him. Chosen ones, your pit seasons, your prison seasons, your silent nights. These are not evidence of abandonment. They are the divine camouflage of destiny. God hides his greatest works in seasons where it looks like nothing is happening. But here is where the struggle becomes unbearable. When you are chosen, your spirit is awake even when your circumstances look dead. You feel things others ignore. You discern what others dismiss. You walk into rooms and sense atmospheres shifting, though no one else notices. This sensitivity, this spiritual awareness, is both your gift and your burden. Because while others laugh and live carelessly, you carry the weight of heaven's call. You feel the battles of light and darkness pressing on your chest. You cry tears no one understands. And yet, because you are chosen, you cannot go back to sleep. And let's speak about the loneliness. Oh, chosen ones know this well. You've had seasons where you looked around and found no one who could truly carry you, no one who could truly see you. Even those closest to you could not grasp the depth of your struggle. They saw your smile and assumed you were fine, but they didn't know the war that raged within you. Some even mocked your faith, belittled your dreams, dismissed your pain. And though you longed for companionship, you found yourself walking a narrow path alone. But hear me clearly, this loneliness was not punishment. It was separation. God separates his chosen ones not to abandon them, but to protect them. There are conversations you were never meant to be part of, relationships you were never meant to keep, places you were never meant to stay. That separation hurt. It felt like rejection, but in reality, it was preservation. God removed what could not go where you are going. He isolated you so that when the time of miracles arrives, there will be no confusion about who carried you through. It was not the crowd, it was not the friend who left, it was not the hand that betrayed, it was God alone. Still, in the silence, you questioned. You asked why you had to hurt so deeply, why your prayers seemed unanswered, why blessings came so slowly. You watched others prosper while you labored in obscurity. You saw doors open for those who mocked you, while your own path was lined with delays and detours. This is the hidden struggle of the chosen. The delay is not denial. The obscurity is not rejection. It is divine preparation. God slows down what he intends to last. He conceals what he intends to reveal in glory. And so, the tears you shed in silence became part of your consecration. Each tear marked you, purified you, softened your heart. While others hardened under trial, you kept compassion. While others lost their faith, you clung to hope. While others abandoned their call, you continued forward. And though it felt like weakness, it was strength. Because those silent tears were prayers that reached further than words. In the courts of heaven, those tears rose like incense, a fragrance that could not be ignored. Chosen one, your struggle is not meaningless. The misunderstandings, the betrayals, the loneliness, the silence, all of it was a refining fire. You were being forged like gold, pressed like olives, crushed like grapes. Gold cannot shine without fire. Oil cannot flow without crushing. Wine cannot pour without pressing. And in the same way, miracles cannot be released without tears. What you went through was necessary, not because God delights in your pain, but because the pain prepared you for the glory that is about to manifest. And now, here you stand. You've carried the hidden struggle. You've survived what was meant to bury you. You've endured the silence that was meant to break you. And though scarred, though weary, though often misunderstood, you are still standing. That in itself is the proof of your chosenness, because if you were not chosen, you would not have survived the weight of your story. But because you are chosen, the very struggles that tried to destroy you are now the evidence of your anointing. Chosen ones, now that you understand the weight of your struggle, let me open before you the revelations that God has been whispering into your spirit all along. Because the very things you thought were curses, the very signs you dismissed as coincidences, were actually heaven's way of confirming that you are set apart. When you begin to see these truths clearly, you will no longer mourn the silent tears. You will recognize them as the proof of your divine election. One of the first revelations is this: your tears were never empty. Every tear you shed carried a message your lips could not form. When you sat in silence and felt your soul breaking, those drops were not wasted on the earth. The psalmist wrote that God bottles the tears of his beloved, that he records them in his book. Think of that. If the creator of the universe takes the time to count your tears, then how could your pain ever be meaningless? Each tear was a seed of intercession. It watered the soil of your future. And that is why, chosen one, you are about to reap in joy what you sowed in sorrow. The tears were not weakness. They were a secret language between your heart and heaven. and heaven has heard you. Another sign of your chosenness is the way you have been misunderstood. Have you noticed how often people twist your intentions? How often your kindness is mistaken for naivety? How often your silence is judged as arrogance? This is not by accident. Those who are chosen carry a frequency that the world cannot decode. You speak one thing and they hear another. You give love and they respond with suspicion. You carry light, and their darkness feels threatened. It is because your spirit is not from this world. You carry eternity in your gaze, and those bound to the temporary cannot comprehend it. That is why Jesus himself said, "If the world hates you, know that it hated me before it hated you." Your rejection is not evidence of failure. It is evidence that the same anointing that was upon Christ rests upon you. But revelation goes deeper still. Consider this: the opposition you face is proportionate to the calling upon your life. Some of you wonder why the enemy has attacked you so violently, why from childhood you were a target of envy, abuse, misunderstanding, spiritual warfare. And here is the truth: darkness always fights hardest against the brightest light. The enemy saw the hand of God upon your life long before you even understood it yourself. He tried to suffocate your purpose in childhood, tried to break your spirit in your youth, tried to distract you in adulthood. Yet every attempt failed. Why? Because chosen ones cannot be destroyed by the very forces they were born to overcome. Your survival is the testimony. You have lived through what should have killed you, and that alone proves that a miracle is already breathing inside your story. Now let me tell you something else. Something many of you feel but have never fully understood. That strange sensitivity you carry, the way you can feel the pain of others, the way you sense atmospheres shift, the way you cry at things others overlook. That is not weakness. That is discernment. It is the prophetic edge of your spirit. You were designed to feel what others numb themselves to, because your compassion is a weapon. Your tears intercede for people who cannot pray for themselves. Your heart aches in ways that birth healing for others. While others see only problems, you sense possibilities. While others ignore the invisible, you carry awareness of the unseen. And though this gift has made you vulnerable, it is also what makes you dangerous to darkness. Because where others walk blind, you walk awake. But perhaps the greatest revelation is this: miracles are not coming because you are perfect, but because you are marked. You may feel unworthy, you may carry regrets, you may look at your scars and wonder how God could use someone so broken. Yet it is those very scars that make you a vessel of glory. Think of Thomas, who doubted until he touched the wounds of Christ. It was the scars that proved the resurrection. And in the same way, your scars prove your survival. They are evidence that you walked through fire and came out alive. They are reminders that God's hand was with you even in silence. And it is from your broken places that miracles will now flow. Out of your wounds, healing will pour for others. Out of your losses, abundance will come. Out of your tears, joy will spring forth. Chosen ones, if you see these things in your life, if you recognize your silent tears as prayer, if you've been misunderstood again and again, if you've survived battles no one else knows, if you carry sensitivity that feels unbearable at times, if your scars remind you of survival, then you are standing on the edge of divine fulfillment. These are not coincidences. These are not accidents. These are heaven's fingerprints on your life. And now the very signs that once confused you will become confirmations that miracles are already unfolding. But let me press this deeper into your spirit. The miracle is not just about you. Yes, God will restore you. Yes, He will answer the cries you whispered. Yes, He will bless you in ways that defy human logic. But your miracle is also a message. Just as Joseph's rise saved nations, just as Job's restoration testified of God's faithfulness, your breakthrough will ripple outward, touching lives far beyond your own. People who once doubted you will see and believe. Hearts that once mocked you will bow in awe, and souls that once wandered in darkness will find light through your testimony. And so I say this to you now, with the authority of the Spirit: do not despise your tears. Do not regret your scars. Do not curse the silence. For these were not punishments, they were preparations. They were the hidden schooling of heaven, training you for the weight of glory you are about to carry. Your struggles were chapters, but not the conclusion. The story is shifting now, and the next pages will be filled with miracles that will make sense of it all. Chosen ones, lift your head. The signs are clear. The struggle was real, but so is the promise. And if you have endured this far, it means you are about to see with your own eyes what your heart has long prayed for. Miracles are not distant, they are imminent. They are breathing on your doorstep. They are unfolding even now in ways you cannot yet perceive. Heaven has heard your silent tears, and the answer is already written into your story. Chosen ones, lean in, because this is the moment you've been waiting for. You've carried the weight of sorrow. You've endured the silence. You've walked through the valley of shadows. And now heaven is declaring over you, enough. The season of endless weeping is ending. The time of miracles is breaking open. This is not a vague promise, not a far-off dream. This is the decree of the Almighty, echoing through eternity into your very life right now. Lift your eyes and see what you could not see before. You are not standing in defeat. You are standing on the threshold of fulfillment. The pain you carried was the labor before birth. The tears you cried were the rivers preparing to overflow. The silence you endured was the pause before heaven's trumpet. And today, right now, you are being called higher. You are being lifted from the shadows into the light, from obscurity into visibility, from mourning into dancing. Do you not perceive it? Even as you listen, something is stirring inside you. A fire that had dimmed is flickering back to life. A strength you thought was gone is rising again. A hope you buried is suddenly breathing. That is not imagination. That is resurrection power moving through you. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead dwells in you, and it is quickening your dry bones. It is awakening your weary heart. It is declaring, you are chosen, you are covered, you are unstoppable. Hear this clearly. Every weapon formed against you failed. They tried to break you, but you bent and did not snap. They tried to silence you, but your voice is still here, proclaiming the goodness of God. They tried to bury you, but they did not know you were a seed. And now, out of the very soil of your struggle, life is bursting forth. Your enemies will watch in confusion as blessings chase you down. Those who mocked you will see tables turned in your favor. Those who betrayed you will realize they were only instruments in the hands of God, pushing you toward your throne. And I declare this over you. No more small thinking, no more shrinking back, no more apologizing for the oil on your life. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out. You were not called to live in the shadows. You were called to be a city on a hill, a light that cannot be hidden. And though the journey has scarred you, those scars are now your crown. Each scar testifies. Each wound shines as proof that you endured, that you overcame, that you are carrying glory. Remember the words of Isaiah, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. That is your story. You walked through floods and they did not drown you. You walked through fire and it did not consume you. Why? Because you are chosen. Because heaven itself wrapped you in protection. Because even in silence, God never let go of your hand. Chosen one, your tears moved heaven. Your prayers shifted atmospheres. Your faith, though trembling, held back the hand of the enemy. And now there is a release. The chains that bound you are snapping. The doors that were locked are swinging open. The blessings that were delayed are rushing in. Miracles are not trickling toward you. They are flooding in waves, overwhelming every barren place, saturating every dry land, filling every empty vessel. And here is the mystery. The miracle is not only external, it is also internal. Yes, you will see breakthroughs in your finances, in your health, in your relationships. But greater still, you will see a breakthrough in your spirit. The heaviness will lift, the despair will break, the fog will clear. You will wake up and feel the joy of the Lord bubbling up where sorrow once sat. You will open your mouth and discover new authority in your words, power that commands demons to flee, authority that shifts the very atmosphere around you. This is your portion. This is your inheritance. This is why you cried those silent tears, because God was enlarging your capacity to carry His glory. Let me speak directly into your spirit now. You are not weak. You are a warrior. You are not forgotten. You are favored. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt into something stronger than before. You are not overlooked. You are hand-picked. And no force of darkness, no whisper of the enemy, no betrayal of man can cancel what God has already written about you. The scroll of your destiny is sealed by the blood of Christ, and no one can blot it out. Chosen ones, rise. This is your hour. You have been in hiding, but the season of hiding is over. You have been in silence, but your voice will now thunder with authority. You have been in pain, but that pain has birthed a purpose so powerful that nations will feel its impact. And when people look at you, they will not just see you, they will see the evidence of God's hand, the reflection of His glory, the living proof that silent tears produce miraculous harvests. So rejoice, even now. Lift your hands, lift your voice, lift your heart, because the breakthrough is not coming, it is here. The favor is not on the way, it is already resting on you. The miracle is not distant, it is unfolding in this very moment. Can you feel it? That warmth in your chest, that stirring in your belly, that fire in your bones, that is heaven's confirmation. You are chosen, you are seen, you are heard, and your miracle season has begun. Chosen ones, as we come to the close of this message, I want you to pause and feel the weight of what heaven has been speaking over you. Not just words, not just phrases, but living truth pouring into your spirit, reminding you of who you are and whose you are. You are not ordinary, you are not forgotten, you are not invisible, you are chosen. And your tears, those silent tears no one else saw, have been heard by the God who never sleeps nor slumbers. Think back for a moment to those nights you cried alone, convinced no one could possibly understand the storm inside you. Think of the times you wanted to give up, when the silence of heaven felt unbearable, when the weight of life seemed too heavy to carry another day. And yet, you carried it, you survived, you pressed forward. And now those tears have become the currency of your miracle. They have gone before you as prayers, and heaven is already releasing what you cried for in secret. This is your reminder that you are not walking this journey alone. The same hand that parted the Red Sea for Moses, the same hand that lifted David from the field to the throne, the same hand that restored Job double for his losses, that same hand is upon you. Heaven has been guiding your steps even when you felt lost. Angels have been encamping around you even when you felt unprotected. The Spirit has been interceding for you with groans too deep for words, even when you could not pray. You have never been alone, and you never will be. And let me tell you this, the miracle is already unfolding. It may not look like it yet, it may not feel like it yet, but seeds break open underground before they sprout into the sunlight. Something is breaking open in your life right now. Doors are shifting, hearts are softening, opportunities are aligning, blessings are gathering speed toward you. What once felt impossible will soon feel inevitable. Because when God says yes, no man can say no. When heaven decrees favor, no curse can reverse it. When you are chosen, the story cannot end in defeat. It must end in glory. So take courage. Lift your spirit. Let hope breathe again. Because your tears were not wasted, your prayers were not ignored, and your faith was not in vain. You are about to walk into a season where miracles will surround you like oxygen. You will see divine acceleration, restoration, and transformation. You will wake up and realize What once broke me has now built me. What once emptied me has now filled me. What once silenced me has now amplified my voice. This is your time. But chosen ones, I must ask something of you. If this word has spoken to your heart, if you feel the truth of it vibrating in your spirit, don't keep it to yourself. Let your agreement be known. Declare it, write it, share it, speak it aloud. Because when you come into alignment with the word, when you say yes to it, heaven responds. In the comments, I invite you to write, "God heard my silent tears, my miracle is here." That simple act of faith is a declaration to the universe that you believe what has been spoken over you. And if this message has blessed you, I encourage you to stay connected. Subscribe to this channel, because every word released here is not just content. It is nourishment for your soul. It is confirmation for your spirit. It is a reminder that you are not alone on this journey. Like this video if it touched you, and share it with someone who you know is crying silent tears of their own. Be the vessel that carries encouragement into someone else's wilderness, because just as your miracle is coming, so too is theirs. And let me leave you with this blessing. May your nights be filled with peace instead of sorrow. May your days be filled with light instead of heaviness. May your hands carry abundance instead of lack. May your heart overflow with joy instead of despair. May every tear you cried return to you as laughter. May every closed door swing wide with opportunity. May every wound you carried become a wellspring of healing for others. You are chosen, you are loved, you are seen, and heaven is walking with you every step of the way. The silence you endured was not the end of your story. It was the prelude to your miracle. And now, chosen ones, go forward in faith, knowing that your tears have been counted, your prayers have been answered, and your breakthrough is already here. And remember this, in the next chapter, more revelation awaits. There are mysteries still to be unveiled, truths still to be spoken, and blessings still to be poured out. So stay with me, stay connected, because what God is about to reveal in your life is bigger than you ever imagined. Until then, walk in faith, chosen one. You are not alone, you never were, and from this day forward, may you never doubt again that heaven has heard your silent tears, because the miracles are already here.